Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat's brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in the bottom of the Lamar Building in Augusta, Georgia. Jeremy and the gang know how to make you feel like at home, like you're at home every time you go in, from the first time to every time. And such great people, have great food, great drinks, great people all around. They have great live music sometimes. They have comedy sometimes. Who knows? You could go in there and catch me slinging jokes on stage one night. And I do autographs because I love my fans. So remember, I goes to Joe's and so should you, the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. Now today, my guest is Kenny Wilkerson, bass player for Nova Rocks, 80s hair band, been kicking it for a long time, been rocking hard, just celebrating their 35th anniversary this year. Kenny's got a new book out. It's called Rockin Recipes For Autism. And it's a cookbook he got together with a lot of rockers from over the years and has gotten a lot of really awesome recipes from them. It surprised me. I think rockers, I don't think foodies. And man, most of these guys can throw down in the kitchen as well on stage. So normally I tell everybody to share and subscribe. This time I want everybody on this podcast to share this thing and tell the people that they're sharing with to share it, because this is all going for We Rock for Autism, which is a charity that helps autistic people through the use of music. I'm down for that. I'm down for anything that helps. Kenny doesn't make a penny from this book. It all goes to that. Such a great book. So many great people contributed, and it's a beautiful book, and it's a heavy book. It's a 2-pound book. So everybody, check this out, order this book, listen to this podcast, and we're just going to have a rocking good time today here on Smoked Meat. So, how you doing today, Kenny?
Hey, Brad, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on your program.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Man, I've been looking forward to this one because, I've been listening to Nova Rex for a good while. And it's funny, you lose a lot of bands from your younger years, and every once in a while you hear something, you're like, I got to get back with them, and you start listening more, and I've been doing that here lately, and man, just the memories.
Oh, I appreciate it. That's kind of what we represent now at this point. It's funny how, classic rock when I growing up, was, like I said, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, that kind of Ozzy T-shirts, and now these kids are wearing, Bon Jovi T-shirts. It's pretty funny that 80s metal is now classic rock.
Yeah, that kind of, I love it, but it kind of makes me feel old too.
No, it doesn't make you feel old. It means you are old, man. So just suck it up, put on your big boy panties, and just, hey, be like my dad said, what's the alternative, right?
This is true. It does beat the alternative.
Yep. No, I'm still alive, man. I figure if 80s rock and roll hadn't killed me, I'm not really worried about the coronavirus.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, man, being from 80s rock and roll and, still rocking after all these years, we got to talking, and I learned about your book, and, for those who don't know, called Rockin Recipes for Autism.
Yeah, no, man, the cookbook.
Yeah.
Craziest thing. It's I've never done a book before. I've done a couple of movies and obviously CDs, music and stuff, but I've never done a book, and it was the hardest thing and the most rewarding thing I've ever done. The book is brand new. It's called Rockin Recipes for Autism. I actually put a little thing on if you see, it says Volume 1, because I had more recipes than we put in the book. So hopefully we'll do it again. But the book's only been out for a little over a month, and like I said, something that's never been done before. What started it was I had a radio show a few years back up in North Daytona. I used to do a Sunday night program, and I had to interview guys like Jack Russell or Bill Leverty from Firehouse. And then what happened was one of the guys gave me a recipe. I was talking about going to New Orleans, and they were like, oh, man, I'm from New Orleans. My mom was raised in New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. If you want some real food, let me send you over this recipe, right? This jambalaya recipe. And then it kind of became a thing, so I started collecting them. And then just a few years ago, I met this organization out of South Florida called We Rock for Autism. It's a 501c that does music therapy for kids on the spectrum. Well, that's just totally in my wheelhouse. And again, like I said, I have a son that has Asperger's, so I totally understand that. I got to meet them, understand what they were all about. So then I had the charity. Then I just reached out to the rock and roll community and guys I've been on the road with over the years. And there you go, Rockin Recipes for Autism. It's a hardback, almost a 2-pound book. 2-pound book. and it's got 57 rockers in it, Hall of Famers, platinum guys, and just all kinds of guys in it.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I first opened it, I saw Frankie from Quiet Riot, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, this is going to be awesome. And then I look down and see pumpkin ravioli with gorgonzola sauce. I'm like, huh?
Why? You didn't think these rockers could cook, did you?
Man, that just blew my mind.
Well, what was funny about it was I figured everybody has one recipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody can cook one thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, especially if you want to get laid. So I figured everybody's got one recipe. Then I was just like, but to come to find out, these guys are talented, and a lot of them are professional chefs. A lot of them have owned restaurants. I've got Phil Sasson from, he's known for everybody. I mean, Ozzy wrote Shot in the Dark. Mm-hmm. And he's owned restaurants. I've got Mark from Trickster. He's owned restaurants. So just a lot of guys have owned restaurants. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think my favorite recipe in the book, though, Steve Lukather.
Steve Lukather. You know what's funny about Steve? Steve doesn't cook, and that's a funny recipe. I'm just glad he was in the book. But Steve actually has a young child with autism. Mm-hmm. So he just said, listen, man, I don't really cook, but I want to help you out. And yeah, it's pretty cute. And then there's some other crazy ones in there too. You remember, I don't know if you remember, but me being a kid, we used to eat a lot of ramen noodles and tuna fish and mac and cheese. And I got a recipe like that in there as well, which I think is really cute.
No, man, I grew up poor. You want to talk about having some recipes for ramen and Spam?
Oh, geez. Dude,
I'm your daddy.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But no, I've got a lot of good guys, man. I mean, I got members from, obviously, Phil from Ozzy. I got Doug Aldridge from Whitesnake, Frankie from Quiet Riot, Roy from Stone Sour, Ricky from Poison, got Evanescence, Great White, Don Dokken. We just mentioned Steve Lukather. So lots and lots of good guys. And that's just the cover. I mean, there's guys from Kicks and LA Guns and Enough's Enough and those kind of bands as well.
Yeah, I saw what Fabrizio put on there, the pumpkin risotto. I'm really waiting to try that one out because, he is Italian and it's risotto. It's got to be good.
Well, you would think it'd be good anyways, wouldn't you?
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
No, I'm sure it's tasty. And people ask me, have I got to all the recipes? And I have not. I just haven't had time, but I'm working on it. But the thing I like about the cookbook is it's never really been done before. The proceeds go to We Rock for Autism. And like I said, right now you can't see these rockers play live for what's all going on, but you can see how they cook. And did you catch all the little write-ups between each one? Like from Roy from Stone Sour, when Roy was a kid, he used to play in his mom's kitchen on pots and pans, and now he cooks,
Yeah.
So it's a little cute insight on the recipes and the family recipes and stuff like that. So
yeah, I like Will Hunt's. The grill hunt.
Oh,
and
right.
The smoked brisket. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We may have to have a challenge.
Hey, man, he's all about it, man. So, yeah, we could definitely rig that up.
Oh, yeah. But no, man, I was looking over them, and I'm wanting to try the salmon with the sesame wasabi crust.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually cooking that tonight.
Well, there you go. Let me know. Send me a picture.
Yeah, I definitely will. But, it's funny, you think 80s rockers and you think any metal person, you don't think, all the recipes, man, these just so many great ones in here. I'm excited because one, I'm a foodie, and two, I'm a fat boy,
Right. So you love it then. Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. The thing about the cookbook that I like too is it's not, with music CDs, you cut a new album or whatever, and then a year from now they're like, what's next? You know what I mean? But with a cookbook, it doesn't really expire. So what I like about it is if you happen to be like yourself, a foodie or somebody that likes to cook in general, minus who's cooking it, if you get because like my girl, she comes from a family that owned restaurants. Mm-hmm. So she has her Martha Stewart books and her Rachel Ray books and all that. So she'll pull them out from time to time. Or you pull out your little index cards or your grandma's favorite, whatever. Mm-hmm. So if you happen to like to cook, the book is good for that. If you happen to know somebody that's involved in autism, they say 1 in 54 people in America have some form of it. So with that being said, obviously you buy the book to support the charity. And then if you just happen to want to know what Ricky Rocket from Poison cooks, buy the book. You have to be a Poison fan.
Yeah. Exactly. And, you know, I just, autism is a special thing to me. It's close to me because we've got it in my family.
Right.
And also, you know, I've been in fire and EMS since I was 14 on fire department as an explorer.
Wow.
And I just passed 30 years on the ambulance.
Oh,
And
wow.
and on the fire department, I was part of the explorer post as an advisor too. And one of my kids, he has Asperger's,
Right.
and he's been a volunteer firefighter since he could legally be one, and he was an explorer before that. And he passed his EMT
Oh, great.
qualifications, and he works. He
That's
works
awesome.
full time as a firefighter and EMT, and he does such a great job, you know. And it's funny, you know. We never treated him any differently.
Right.
We hazed him and rag him just like everybody else because he throws it right back at us.
Right. Right. Right.
But he has one claim to fame that I can't even do.
What's that?
Have you ever heard of the cinnamon dragon?
Oh, as far as eating it,
Yes.
he ate the cinnamon.
My boy can do it repeatedly.
Yeah. No.
He has suckered people into doing it by doing it in himself.
Well, you know, like my son has Asperger's, which is high functioning.
Yeah.
And the thing with Asperger's is they say a lot of people had it. You know, they say Beethoven probably had it. You know, Einstein, Elon Musk. I mean, I can go on.
Yeah.
So they're like little mini superheroes. They just think with the other half of their brain. And the thing is, a lot of them guys are smarter than us.
Yeah.
You know, the main problem with Asperger's that I can tell is usually social situations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a new crowd, new people, too loud. You know, just it's kind of the thing about people with autism in general is that they're all like snowflakes. They all have their own different little quirk. You know what I mean? Some of them have autism with OCD. Some have this, some have that. You know, I had my son the last 2 years of high school. He was in autistic school. And he had kids in there that just were nonverbal. You know, my kid to this day still won't wear socks because they're weird on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so try to put an 8-year-old in the car with shoes on and take him to school. That's what I used to have to deal with every morning. So
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. And you know, you talk about the sounds, and I never really understood that
Right.
when I was younger. And you know, 5 years ago, I had 2 strokes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's actually where the smoked meat name comes from. I'll tell you that story. But one of the tics from my strokes is it doesn't happen every day. But did you ever see the movie Daredevil where I think it's Ben Affleck in there?
Yeah.
Well, I know the way they describe the way he sees is each sound registers differently.
Right.
And I have days where, like regular background noise, where you just hear a crowd or hear all kind of different things. It all just registers as noise. And
Well, you can kind of understand that. Yeah.
yeah, and I have days where each little bitty noise registers on its own, all at the same
Right.
time, and that is pure hell.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, like I said, my son's got some different things going on, but a lot of these guys are pretty musically inclined.
Yeah.
It's amazing how their ears pick that up. So my son has a keyboard that he plays with a lot, and a really good story is, you know, my son doesn't, you know, his dad's a rocker. He don't care. You know what I mean? Just like my dad was a car dealer and I didn't care.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I asked him, about a month ago, I was like, hey man, what is your favorite band? Just making conversation. Because, you know, I don't want these kids to listen to, you know what I mean? He's an 18-year-old kid. Usually music off video games or YouTubers, you know?
Yeah.
And he said Queen. And I'm like, I'll take that.
Kids got
You know what I mean?
taste.
That's a good one. Because in something like Queen or, you know, maybe say Toto or Yes, those kind of bands, he really likes because they're so musical. You know what I mean? So he likes that stuff. That's I mean, he's probably the kind of guy that would listen to you know, classical music.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you a song I bet he would dig, and people laugh at me. It's the theme from Shaft.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Anything Isaac Hayes did, you know, if you listen, you get down to the music part of it.
Right.
Holy crap! He didn't have songs; he had orchestrations.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just amazing. But man, I tell you, you're lucky. My daughter's into K-pop.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and nothing against it. It's just not my thing. But I love making her mad because I'll ask her. I said, "Do you speak Korean?" And she'll always say no.
Right.
And I'll say, "Well, how do you know they're not singing about soup?" And that pisses her off so bad.
Right, right. What's just the kids, man? Like I said, most of these kids are hearing this music. Well, not from radio airplay because we know how corrupt that is.
Yeah.
But it's from video games, movie soundtracks, listen to what their parents listen to. But it is amazing how a lot of these things. I mean, you just seen the new rat commercial for Geico, right?
Oh, I love it. We have a
Well,
rat problem.
but I'm saying that's something, when I was a kid, and I'm talking young kid, 10, 11, 12. I mean, that same commercial would have been shot by Sean and Ah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty weird that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I never thought that I would be that old guy. And now I'm to the point where a lot of new music I don't like. My playlist is just older stuff, and I cling to it. I don't know why, but.
Well, it happened to me too. Listen, over the last couple of years, my list is getting smaller. But the good thing is, with my radio station that I do daily, we do a thing on Wednesdays called Independent Spotlight, where we'll feature an unsigned up-and-coming artist.
Mm-hmm.
I did a kid last week that was or 2 weeks ago, he's from Canada. He was 18, never been on the radio before. Now, listen, the thing about these bands, and I will give you this, is they sound, they're kind of bringing back rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I like that. More 70s kind of rock stuff, big intros and things like that. But, I mean, they got it to the point now that these songs are like 2 minutes long with no solos in them. And these newer kids are coming back out playing long songs. And it's just, it's good that's coming around. But even this week, Wednesday, I'm interviewing some kids in town. They're 11, 12, and 13. And they have a little rock band.
Holy
and
crap.
they're pretty damn good. So we do that. So with that being said, and then my girl still listens to upcoming bands, so she tries to keep me in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand what you mean. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny the way that kids are doing that. I know he's not 7 anymore by no stretch, but I remember the first time I saw Avery Malik on YouTube playing Tom Sawyer. I'm like, holy shit, this kid's drumming this?
Right.
There's adults that's been playing for years that can't do that one.
Yeah, there's definitely talented. Listen, it's not about the talent. We already know that. It's just about the right timing. A lot of times I refer to bands like Green Day. I don't know if the guy's the greatest singer in the world. I don't know if the guy's the greatest guitar player in the world, but they have great songs for their band.
Yeah.
As long as you stay in your wheelhouse, man, and you sell the songs, that's what's really important.
Yeah. I was reading something about them that when they first started, he couldn't even play guitar. He basically went to drop D and did bar chords. That's all he did. And he eventually learned.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's not about that. I mean, I see these shows like America's Got Talent, things like that too. The thing with there's a lot of talented people out there. It's all about timing, marketing, and all that stuff. I mean, that's how it's always been. And now it's even worse than ever because radio doesn't really give airplay to new bands.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be payola like back in the day where you slipped a guy a gram of cocaine and a couple $100 for a hooker so you can get played. Now it's, hey, buy ads.
Yeah.
Same thing, but we want you to spend your money.
Yeah. When I first got into radio, I was at a small station down in McRae, Georgia. Town was so small that both city limit signs were on the same post.
Okay.
And the station was what we called $1 a holler, and a 30-second ad literally cost $1 to go on.
That's funny. I like $1 a holler.
Yeah,
that sounds funny. Yeah.
That was such a fun station because my station manager, I mean, he had a couple of rules. Obviously he couldn't cuss on the air. Right. But that was pretty much it. We could play what we wanted to as long as it stayed in the format, which was country.
Right.
And that was so much fun because I would play people that, a lot of folks wouldn't play. I was playing Toby Keith before he started getting real popular.
Well, that was because it was an independent radio station. You can do whatever the hell you want. But that 80% or so of all radio stations are owned by one company now. So unless you're in that groove and spending that money, you're not getting any love. Yeah. And, they have control over that stuff too. Hey, you go get on this station. We won't play you on this one. You play that festival. You can't play these 10 festivals. All that's in play, man. Now with the coronavirus, everything's even changed again. Because the money was going up on these bands. And for me, when you want to see these 80 rock bands or these classic rock bands, you're not going to get very much airplay. So the only thing to do is see them live, and hell, that's kind of taken away from us now.
Yeah, and being a comedian, I know I miss getting on stage a lot. I haven't been on stage in several months, and Usually when I didn't go, it was my choice. Now I'm just aching to get up on stage because that's what I do, you know.
I know, man.
And
I know.
I did get lucky, you know, to have the thing where you can't have a gathering of more than 10 people.
Right?
I almost sold out 3 shows.
But I was waiting for the joke. That is funny though.
But yeah,
I still like dollar a holler though. I'm gonna snag that somehow. I just haven't figured it out yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll shoot you a recipe and we'll call it dollar holler pork chops or something.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, for people that want to check it out, I mean, just go to Rockin without a G, Rockin Recipes For Autism.com. And everything you need to know, there's flip pages, why I did it, where I did it, how I did it, where the money's going, what artists are in it. And it's, I just very, very excited about having something that high quality, you know, that like I said, that's for a great cause. So
yeah,
I figure if your heart's true on it, everything will work out, you know?
Exactly. And, you know, the price on it is not bad at all, especially for a good cookbook. Because cookbooks have gotten expensive now, and
well,
that's
you know,
not bad.
Yeah, it's $29.99, a couple dollars for shipping. But the thing is, after I pressed that book, believe it or not, I had tons of people coming back to me saying that I should at least charge $10 more a book, because, like you said, cookbooks are pricey. This is kind of a one of a kind type of thing, and the damn book almost weighs 2 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's a heavy hardback. It's like your English textbook. It's definitely a coffee table book, and like I said, you'll know everybody that's in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just, like I say, just looking through it, when I got it, I'm like, man, these people, holy crap, Don Dawkins gave a recipe.
Oh, again, a great story. He was the last guy I got in my book. I played a show probably 10 months ago out in Montana. We were opening up for Don. We were having dinner in the tent behind the stage, and we were talking about food, and I told him about the book, and he's like, hey, man, I cook. I've owned restaurants. I've done this. I've done that. I'm like, bring it. I love me some Don. What's it? Dockin something, right?
Yeah,
Rockin
Ragu. Rockin Rokken Ragu sauce.
Yeah, Rockin Ragu. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm very excited about everybody that's in the book. Super cool. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a very cool, exciting thing, and I'm just hoping people be able to find it and get a copy of it.
Well, if they can't find it after this, man, it's going to be a miracle, because I want everybody out there listening right now, I want you to share this. I want you to tell the people you share it with to share it. I want you to order one. I'm challenging everybody to order one.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Thanks, Brad.
And, like I say, this is something, you know, it's not, oh, Kenny wants a couple extra bucks in his pocket. No, this is something we're going to help some people, and I'm down for that.
Well, and listen, Brad, here's how I feel about that. So this book is very, very expensive, right? Tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
I have 4,000 pounds of them in my garage, and I paid for it out of my own money.
Man.
So no, Kenny ain't doing it for $2.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but it's totally awesome. So yeah, if you can definitely get it out there, like I said, Rockin Recipes for Autism. I've had some good success over the last 6 weeks. The book's been out. It made it in April's Rachel Ray magazine. I know that this month, June's Father's Day just passed, and I made it in Autism Parenting magazine, which is a big deal. They did a Father's Day issue, and some other companies like Loudwire and things like that, some rock and roll stuff has put it out as well. So definitely pumped on it.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to empty your garage.
I appreciate it. I can't walk through it right now.
We're going to empty your garage so you can get you a good smoker, and
yes,
I'll hook you up with a lot of good smoke recipes.
I'm all about it, man. You kidding me?
Oh yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you being on here today. This has just been awesome. I mean, it's an honor to talk to you, because you've been in metal forever. You still rock.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, as far as my band, if you want to check my band, this is our 35th anniversary. You can always check us out if you just Google us. There's tons of stuff out there. It's Novarex, Novarex, Novarex. If you like that kind of 80s metal stuff from back in the day, I mean, we just put out an album a couple years ago. Just put out a video called "This Is How We Rock." We put out a video. Everybody's putting out these videos with COVID messages and riot messages, and we just put out one called "Bosoms and Beer." So that tells you where we're at.
Hey, if you're going to be distracted from what's going on today, that's the way to do it, baby.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's rock and roll, man. You don't want to hear my opinions on freaking on politics and religion. I'll hate everybody.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm just rocking and rolling, man. So check it out. And then I'm about 5 months into my new radio show. It's a daily radio show here in Orlando called Florida Man Radio. That's the station. It's a part of JVC Broadcasting. I think they own about a dozen stations. We got guys on there like Shannon Burke. We got Bubba the Love Sponge in the morning, if you know those guys. And we're on every night from 7 to 8. And you can just go. It's Real Talk with G-Love and Kenny the Rocker, which happens to be me. And tonight we're interviewing Kenny Arnoff, drummer.
You know, I'm actually talking to him in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, Kenny Arnoff's a great guy. Great. I mean, his resume is unbelievable.
Oh,
so.
Man, he's hit the skins for everybody.
Well, you know, the thing is, I grew up in Indiana. That's where I'm from, right? I moved down here back in '95 for the second time. But anyways, I mean, they up in Indiana, it's definitely a mandatory law that they have to play John Mellencamp every hour on the hour.
Well, you know.
It's the truth, man. I swear to God. Every station. So, yeah. So, yeah, I've been a fan of Kenny Arnoff's forever.
Yeah.
But we got some, you know, we've done, you know, Joey Allen from Warrant, Steve Bartlett from Saving Abel, Casey Grillo from Queens, right? A lot of guys that are in the cookbook as well.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice. Well, I want everybody to listen to that too, because I mean, I want to support you any way I can, because you're a bona fide good guy.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. That's what my mom says.
Hey, moms are never wrong.
Right? I'm trying to get my angel wings, baby.
You already got them, man.
Well, thanks, man.
You got 2 tons of them sitting in your garage.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
Yep.
Well, listen, Brad, I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on your program.
Hey, and thanks for being on here.
Yeah, and check it out, Rockin Recipes For Autism.com.